Let's do other stories now, because covering food on fire with rubber to enhance proper boiling is commonplace in the Ghanaian society. However, do you know that the heating of such rubbers can lead to the leaching of a substance that can affect your reproductive abilities? On our series on food safety, JoyNews medical correspondent Dr. Netta Pasram brings us a research by scientists at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, which has found some levels of bisphenol A in street vended fufu and fried rice.
I cover it with plastic, else the food wouldn't cook evenly.
In the manufacturing of plastic, a substance known as bisphenol A is added to make it stable. Unfortunately, when heat is applied, the plastic matrix expands, which causes loose bisphenol A resin.
I cover it with plastic, else the food wouldn't cook evenly.
In the manufacturing of plastic, a substance known as bisphenol A is added to make it stable. Unfortunately, when heat is applied, the plastic matrix expands, which causes loose bisphenol A resins to leach out into the food.
Bisphenol A is a plasticizer that is used in making plastics. You understand? So when we make plastics, in the manufacture of plastics, we add bisphenol A to make it more plastic-like. So when you heat a container that contains bisphenol A, what happens is that it expands, and as it expands, there are some loose resins of bisphenol A in the plastic. So when the mesh expands, the plastic expands, these resins are able to escape out of the plastic into the food that we are preparing.
Bisphenol A has the ability to mimic effects of natural hormones like estrogen. This means it can negatively affect the processes that control reproductive development in humans. This research found levels of bisphenol A below WHO standards. However, these chemicals can accumulate in the body and will likely have a long-term effect with repeated consumption.
So we realized that with the fufu, it was mostly covered with the plastic rubber in heating, and we boil it for about an hour or two to get that quantity of cassava cooked. So in doing that, the bisphenol leaches from the plastic into the food. And the interesting thing about it is that upon first use, it doesn't leach that much, but upon second use, a lot of it leaches into, because the integrity of the plastic is destroyed. So when we use it to cover again and again and again, we have more bisphenol A leaching into the food. So we found it a lot in our fufu that we consume.
Food vendors are advised to desist from using plastic to cover food. Best is to use hygienic cloth. Reporting for JoyNews, Dr. Netta Pasram.
Joining us via Zoom is Dr. Gloria Anka-Bro, who's a senior lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Good morning, Doc, and thanks for your time. Hi, Doc. I'd need you to please unmute yourself. Hi, Doc, if you can hear me. All right, so we're taking a look at covering your food with plastics, and Dr. Gloria Ankabru is a senior lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and I'm sure you are one of the people who use, you know, if you're watching me, if you're one of the people who cover your food with plastic, and there's some terrible health effects on that. But let's go to Dr. Gloria, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you so much for making time. Now, in the report we just watched, scientists at the KNUST, which you were also part, found levels of bisphenol A in the street vended fufu and fried rice. What exactly is that?
So you see, bisphenol is actually a plasticizer that is used in making plastics.
Okay.
So bisphenol is mimics estrogen in our body. Okay, so what health effects in our bodies when we consume foods that are contaminated with bisphenol A?
All right, okay, so it seems like we lost you. All I heard was estrogen. So can you please just repeat that sentence?
Okay, what I said was that bisphenol A is actually a plasticide that is used in the making of plastics. And bisphenol mimics estrogen that is produced, a hormone that is produced in our bodies. So when it mimics that hormone, it prevents the estrogen actually from doing its work in our bodies, and therefore causes negative effects of the estrogen in our bodies, because it's not able to do its work, and thereby causing harm to us. That is what I.
Okay, all right. So now let's talk about the harm. What harm, like what exactly does it cause? What does it do to our bodies?
Actually, exposure to bisphenol A causes us to actually gain weight.
Okay.
Get obesity. We have recurrent miscarriages.
Okay.
We also have a lot of polycystic ovarian syndromes, also in our bodies. So mostly that is the effect that it causes on us.
So what I'm hearing is that for the females, yes. What about the males?
So especially we have a lot of problems. Yes. Mostly the estrogen. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. We're just having some
mostly
terrible
the
network.
The estrogen is a female hormone.
Yes.
It's not a male hormone. So mostly it affects mostly females. Yes.
Okay, so what I want to understand is that because I already have the hormone, why is it like affecting me in a terrible way? And why is it not affecting a male?
It will affect males. Have to a low amount of estrogen in their body, but females, we need estrogen to help us portray the women characteristics that we have. Yes, so if it is blocked, it is prevented from doing its work, because bisphenol is mimicking it and taking its place. It prevents the estrogen from doing its actual work in our body.
Okay.
We have these effects that we listed above.
Okay. That makes sense now. So typically, how long would you see the effect on the human body? How long does it take?
Actually, from the study that we did, we realized that low levels of estrogen, low levels of the bisphenol is released into the food.
Okay.
But the problem is that we have what we call long-term exposure. When we are exposed to it for a very long time, then we begin to see its effect. But the problem is that we can't really pinpoint how long it affects. Yes, because every individual and the way they respond to some of these chemicals in food.
And obviously, there's like once we have consumed this food, there's nothing we can do about it, or?
Yes, once you consume it, actually the body is supposed to excrete it.
Okay.
But because of long term, because we keep being exposed to it repeatedly,
Yeah.
it ends up being stored in the body. So the body is not able to excrete it as quickly as it should. So once it's stored in the body, then it begins to exert its negative effect on us.
Okay.
That's how it is.
So before I let you go, so the best way to deal away with this or not be a victim of this is to not cover our food in plastic.
The first point of contact of the food should not be plastic. We can use the cloth, cheese cloth. We can use our locals, any prints on them, because the prints are also color and they are chemicals, and they can also have effect on us. So nothing with prints on it should be the first contact of on our food. Before possibly we can think of putting plastic on it to help in the regulation of the temperature. That's the yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc, for your time. That is Dr. Gloria Anka-Brewu, who is a senior lecturer at the Kwame University of Science and Technology, and she's been telling us what covering your food with plastic does to your body. So if you're one of those people who covers your rice, or when you're going to buy food, the first point of contact is plastic, maybe today is the day to stop doing that and take your own, bowl to your favorite vendor, fufu or rice vendor.